Hi, I'm Maverick and welcome to my build video, the Hornet 2021. Okay, we're going to start this now at this build as if we were building it on a real server, and this will be how I build my starter. It's basically 6 triangles that make one large diamond. Once we've got those 6 triangle foundations down, we can get our walls up and then get our TC down. As you can see, we're essentially building 2 of the loot rooms from the Hornet. So once we've done the bottom floor, we want to move upstairs now and get these walls up here. And once we've done that, we can put our doorways in on either side and get our roof sealed in. And now we can put our wooden doors in. And as you can see, the section that I'm walking along now is the airlock. Now for our next step, we're going to come down into this loot room and we're going to set up some storage. And you'll notice that I've kept the shelves twig, and that's because they're only there for holding boxes, and later on you want to be able to remove all of this to replace possibly with vending machines. Now you can, if you want, do all the loot rooms like this using barbecues and small boxes. They do actually hold one more row of storage than 2 vending machines. But you're probably a little bit like me and you like the vending machines because they are the same size as a large box, and it's nice to see a box of rockets or a box of AKs rather than have them all spread around in small boxes. And once again here, I'm just building a temporary loot room, as later on we'll be removing this when we've got gears and high quality to replace with vending machines. And now our next stage would be to lay these small furnaces, and I like to put them in this corner here so you can use them as a jump up to exit the loot room. Now you can squeeze up to 3 sleeping bags down in this area. It's a little bit of a squeeze, but it can be done. If there's more of you, then you could always put some bags in the airlock. I know it's not ideal, but it's better than nothing. As you notice, there's absolutely no space left for a workbench, so we're going to put that up here in the airlock. And of course now we're going to need some access up into this base, so a ladder would be ideal on the side of the base, but you can't always guarantee that you're going to have ladders at an early stage. So we're just going to put some temporary twig run-ups here. Now hopefully it won't be long before you start running out of storage, so what we're going to do here now is build another loot room, just the one on the side. So as you can see looking at it now, we actually have half of the core of the base. Now of course you can carry on doing this in one loot room sections, making it easy for you, or I can just show you here now as we finish off the core in one go. Now it's always a good idea to shuffle around every wipe where you put your front door, because people are going to use your front door as a reference for where your TC is. And of course nobody quite knows where the TC is going to be on each build, including yourself. So that's one of the good things about this base, is nobody's ever going to know exactly where the TC is. It could be in any one of those loot rooms. Now the next stage is to start building upwards. I like to get the high ground advantage over any raiders, so let's get this top floor done as quickly as possible. Now that that's done, we should have enough frags cooked up in our little furnaces to metal all of the loot rooms and their foundations. Right, now that we've got some frags cooked up, we want to be looking at replacing these wooden doors with sheet metal doors. Okay, once you've finished doing the loot rooms downstairs, you can get up here and you can start making your roof camping, your shooting floor. Now that all our roof peaks are done, we can move on to our heliport. Now I do like to put vertical embrasures on this just to give us some kind of chance if there's somebody up on the roof, we might be able to kill them from inside of the heliport. Okay, now we have the main structure in place, we want to be looking towards doing our external TCs, and to do that we're going to twig out 10 square foundations. Once we've done that, we just keep the 10th square that we're stood on and we'll remove all the rest, and we're going to triangle back towards the base. And then this last one here is a square. We're going to metal that because we're going to keep that one. We'll get rid of all of that because that's not needed now. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go out 5 square foundations on the 2 sides. And then we're going to finish off with triangles here on the end, and on the last triangle we're going to put our TC down. Each one of these external TCs is 12 rockets to raid, and we keep this raid cost up because we do not want to lose building privilege on the main base. If we lose building privilege, then those windows that we're using can easily be lifted off by a raider just using a hammer. And now we want to fill in the foundation sections on the honeycomb where we have no external TCs. So we'll do that on both sides here. And then what we're going to do after that is just repeat the process all the way around. So you've got 3 external TCs and you should be looking like this. Now at the moment, these linking arms that connect the TC to the main base can be destroyed for 8 rockets using splash damage. So what we're going to do is put these up on the side, which will stay connected if the foundations underneath are blown away. And now for our next stage, we can move on to doing our honeycombing around the bottom loot rooms. And don't forget to put in these baffles, just a sheet metal wall there, just to divide up the areas so that they can't just breach on one side of the slope roof and then go round through to access each loot room. Now I'd just like to explain at this point why I'm using slope roof sections. One, if I was to have normal triangle honeycombing down here, it would be interfering with my peak downs above, giving slight amounts of cover here and there for raiders. Also, with this multi-TC design, it means that there are no gaps in the base, and this links in very nicely to the base, leaving no gaps at all. We can come inside now and we can start metaling the inside of the base on the drop down level. And now that that's done, we can come down into our loot rooms and start setting them up properly. Now we're going to make this bit metal, and the idea of that is to just reduce the splash damage on the two vending machine window walls just inside there. Now when you're placing your triangle ladder hatch frame, make sure that you make it metal, because otherwise it's really tricky to get out of the loot rooms, as the extra thickness of the stone will prevent you from sliding up the ladder nicely. Now basically we're going to metal everything now that's inside of this base on this level, and we're going to replace all these sheet metal doors with garage doors. Once that's done, we can start placing our shotgun traps down in here and our windows. Now in this area here we create a little bedroom, which is a second wall on it just in case the external wall is breached, and the idea is here that we have a safe spawn for ourselves, and we're going to have some meds and ammo in that box there, and we're going to set up some lockers with some kits in, ready for raid defense. Now after we've placed this ladder hatch, what we're going to do is we're going to put a garage door down on either side of it, just to bring the raid cost up to 4 rockets to breach down onto this level. And after that we're going to start placing garage doors down on every corner of the base, just to compartmentalise it and increase the raid cost a little bit. And now we can move on to our auto turrets, and the first thing we want to do is put down a shelf for them. Now these auto turrets have proved to be incredibly effective in the position that they're in. I did in fact see once 4 raiders who breached the external wall and the garage door and were coming up the slope roof on the outside, and it killed all 4 raiders in one go, and it was raid over, GG. Now you'll notice that when I put shotgun traps down here, I'm putting 2 at slight angles, and that's because 1 in the centre is not enough, because people can jump off to the side and avoid the shotgun trap, but this will stop that from happening. Now these little compartments up here can be used as either loot rooms or as locker storage. I'll leave it up to you how many you decide to have. I usually have two loot rooms and 2 lockers, and then of course my jump up and my battery. Now we go straight from the windmill to the battery, and then the output on the battery will then go to the switch. And then from the switch we're going to go across to the very top splitter, very top connection. And from there we're going to take the bottom connection on this splitter, connect it into that one, and same on this side. And what we've got now is 6 equal power outlets. And I find this is really simple. There's no setting of current, you know, it doesn't take up much space. It's only 3 splitters, and it's easy to replace if you get raided. Now this is a bit of an old trick, but if you place your locker exactly where I've placed mine, you can then put a lock on your locker and it'll protrude through the garage door. This now means that you don't actually have to wait for the garage door to open to get to the locker. You can just click on the lock. And we're going to do the same on this level, on this ladder hatch. We're going to put a garage door either side of it, and then we're going to metal up all the walls around here. And we're also going to metal up here, which is the beds above us, which stops people from getting a cheap raid down, and also helps to keep the bed floor and the beds intact. And here we have our external TC upkeep costs. And here we have our flat rate cost. This is with no armoured walls in at the moment, and we haven't even got the windows in. So what I'm going to do is just go around, put the windows in, and then show you the upkeep costs with these, because these are of course high quality now. And there you can see the upkeep costs with all the HQM windows in. Now we're going to armour all of this drop down level, make sure that there's no cheap way down for them into the loot rooms. Now this is what you're looking at with the finished product. This is the total upkeep cost. But I did realise that as time goes on, you're going to end up with a little bit more high quality. So I found that one of the first things that you should do when you've got an excess of high quality is to split the loot rooms in half by armouring 2 of these walls. And that just brings the raid cost up, because it means blowing out the central core becomes that bit more expensive. And as time goes on, you can then armour more of these so that all 6 walls are armoured. And I'll just show you the total upkeep cost on that. And there we are, we're all finished. And in my 8,500 hours of playing Rust, I've never come across a base that's as difficult to raid as this one for the upkeep cost. It's an absolute gem of a base, and I hope you enjoy using it. And I also hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like and a subscribe.